Welcome back to Wrestling is Phenomenal. I am your head of creative, Alexander Leviathan. And today, I'm finally getting to it. I wanted to let the draft sit with me and just marinate for a little bit. I thought a couple of weeks would work really well because how can I say this? So instead of just flipping out about it the next day like every other YouTube channel, YouTuber, TikToker, everybody did, instead of jumping out the window, I wanted to let it fester for a little bit, then come with a conclusion. And I have my conclusion now. It was utter trash. Complete garbage. Everything about it was stupid. Everything about it did not make sense. Let's just do it like this. I got 5 points to make, and each point is going to take, I don't know how long. We'll just go through them and see. Point 1, WWE doesn't understand what a draft is, okay? We go to NHL, NBA, NFL, any other actual professional sports type event that has a draft. You take the best available talent as early as possible, right? That makes sense, right? So Roman, Cody, Bianca, Becky, all make sense. They're all top tier performers and they all are just amazing. They are top tier talent. Then I put them in order as everybody who came out. 20 rounds, 8 on SmackDown, and then 12 on Raw. So first round, like I said, was Roman and Cody. Second round, Bianca and Becky. Third round, the SmackDown selected Street Profits. Why select Street Profits? Why? You wanted a tag team? In the 11th round, Sammy and Cody were selected. And Cody, KO. Sammy and KO were selected in the 11th round. They are the dual tag team champions, and they were selected in the 11th round. Doesn't make sense. Imperium drafted as one unit with 3 individuals. You know what? I'm not even gonna get to that right now. I won't get to that. That's point 3. Edge. Why are you selecting Edge? Edge is a part-timer. And you use your 4th overall pick to select Edge. Why? You know, I don't even see the joint. The dude didn't even have. You know what? Never mind. I just went through a video with what was supposed to be the entire draft summarized, just so I can make sure I didn't miss anything. He didn't even have Johnny Gargano on there. Johnny Gargano got drafted in one of the supplemental little drafts they had either on SmackDown or Raw. Johnny didn't deserve a spot. You know how crazy that is? I understand he's not white hot right now. But Johnny Gargano? Are you kidding? You know, it's funny because Johnny left WWE because he was afraid this situation would happen to his career. When Vince was gone, he's like, okay, cool. And then it still ended up happening to him. I feel so bad. And I'm so sorry to see this happen to Johnny Gargano. He does not deserve it. He was drafted on like I said, the supplementary draft. If nobody knows what supplementary draft is, after the actual draft, they'll have other picks for teams called the supplementary draft, where you can draft other players that didn't make it in the big draft. You could use some picks on those to pick them out. And he made it to that. Johnny Gargano, one of the best wrestlers in the world, made it to a supplementary draft. Wow. I could keep going with this. Bobby Lashley, top tier. McIntyre, top tier. OC, yes. The Miz, why are you drafting The Miz at 6? The Miz is incredible, don't get me wrong. I'm a Miz fan. I love The Miz, but round 6, The Miz should not be drafted round 6. There are people still on the board. Austin Theory was still on the board. Rhea Ripley and Austin both got drafted in the 9th overall pick. and you decided The Miz was better than Sammy, KO, Rhea, Austin. And I know what people are going to say, oh, they needed to pick some people for Raw. It still doesn't make sense. That's not how a draft works. You draft the best available person or the person that suits your needs the most. Street Profits at 3 does not suit your needs at most. I love the Street Profits. Are they better than Sammy and KO? No. Are they better than the Usos? No. They're not. They're not. Are they better than Judgment Day? No. They're not. And just keep going with this. Like I said, OC, The Miz, Damage Control. Damage Control, they lose a lot, but I still love their group. I mean, Infinite Potential. Shinsuke, I love Shinsuke. Shinsuke is one of my top 10 favorite wrestlers of all time. Then they draft Alba Fire and Isla Dawn, the NXT Tag Team Champions, and Raw drafts Indy Hartwell, the NXT Women's Champion. Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. Because Best Girl Roxanne Perez had to relinquish the title for a kayfabe injury. Indy wins it in that amazing women's ladder match just so she can checks notes. So she can vacate the title again. The NXT Women's Championship has been vacated twice in the last 3 months. Not a good look. It's dumb to draft NXT champions. Not only does it choreograph them losing the title soon, it also doesn't make sense for brand exclusive personnel. It doesn't make sense. I can keep going with this. I said Austin and Rhea are nice. Seth Rollins drafted 10th. Charlotte drafted 10th. We all say, whatever we got to say about Charlotte Flair, because I dislike Charlotte too. Think she's way too much. Her ego is massive. But that's, like I said, Usos, Sammy and KO, Judgment Day, the women's tag team champions, Liv and Raquel, they were drafted round 13 with Asuka, who was being completely underutilized like nobody's business. They wasted a draft pick on Trish Stratus. Trish Stratus is clearly a part-timer. Why are you using a draft pick on Trish Stratus? Why are you using a draft pick on Trish Stratus? Why? Just keep going all the way down. You got people like Karrion Kross who got a draft pick. Then, okay, I'm gonna just leave it alone. It just ended there. It didn't make sense. Part 2, point 2, subject 2, part 2. Let's move on to the next category. Stupid title names. The Raw and SmackDown Women's Championships. We can just stop that. We're done with that. We're done with that. It's dumb. It's dumb. It's stupid. We can get away with calling Sammy and KO's titles the Unified Tag Team Championships now. But naming titles after shows is stupid. For this reason in particular, you don't have to do a stupid belt swap with Austin Theory and Gunter for their titles, because it's not called the SmackDown mid-card title and the Raw mid-card title. The United States Championship and the Intercontinental Championship. It's not that hard. Change the women's title to the WWE Women's Championship and the other one to the Women's World Championship. It's not hard. Just do exactly what you did with the men's titles. Why is this even a thing? It's not hard. Why is this a thing? I just don't understand it. I don't get it. Another thing I don't get, point 3. Why were there some people being drafted with their entire groups and some people being drafted differently? Like, AJ Styles is clearly still a top 10 talent, but he was drafted with the entire OC. But Rhea was drafted separately from Judgment Day. She's still in Judgment Day. She's still a massive part. Some people think she's a leader. I still don't think they have a leader. And if they did, I think it would be Finn, because he took Edge's spot, but whatever. Why is that the case? Why? What sense does that make? Make it make sense. Make it make sense. In addition to that, they buried the NXT they buried the NXT talent that they were drafting. Cameron Grimes, Caden, and Katana, Indy, Alba, Isla, they were all drafted last. They were all drafted in the last spots. The last 2 spots for SmackDown, the last 2 spots were Raw. And whereas Pretty Deadly was drafted 18th. They used Rick Boogs. How did you draft Rick Boogs and not draft Johnny Gargano? Make it make sense. Make it make sense. You wasted draft picks on Edge, Trish Stratus. They're clearly part-timers. And then we move on to part-timers or free agents. It makes sense for Lesnar to be a free agent because obviously he will be used wherever they need him to be used. It makes sense. Duh, it's Lesnar. Lesnar is a part-timer too. Excuse me. Lesnar is a part-timer too. It makes sense for him to float from Raw to SmackDown. He can show up anywhere he wants to. He's Brock Lesnar. Okay, cool. Omos doesn't make any sense. Mustafa Ali, Dolph, Von Wagner don't make sense. Von Wagner, why does he get the pleasure of becoming a free agent? What has he done? What has he done? Free agents should be able to float, but unless you have instant chemistry or that type of name value, why are you anywhere? Omos, I guess Omos could show up and just be that towering giant that comes and interrupts people and just destroys them. Fine. That's a pretty good gimmick. Cool. Make him like Great Khali when he first appeared and destroyed The Undertaker. Just have him do that to everybody. I'll actually be like, okay, yeah, I want to see that. But Mustafa, Dolph, these are people who just need roster spots. They don't have to float. There's no reason for them to float. It doesn't make sense. As per usual, does not make sense. Where else do we got? The supplemental draft, like I said, Hit Row and Lacey Evans to SmackDown, Viking Raiders, Dexter Lumis, Candice LeRae, Maximum Male Models, Zoe Stark, JD McDonough, Apollo, Natty, Sonya Deville, and Chelsea Green, all going in the supplemental draft. JD McDonough, why is he in the supplemental draft? The dude is incredible. They're talking about him joining the Judgment Day. What people are saying, maybe. Judgment Day are on fire right now. Obviously, that Puerto Rico Backlash pay-per-view was incredible. Like, wow. Bad Bunny, oh my gosh. Just, wow. The LWO with legitimate legendary figures in there. I don't think they're actually like, as much as I love seeing Carlito, as much as I like seeing all that, Salvio Vega and all that, I don't think they're gonna sign. I don't think it's gonna be a long time. I think it's just one-off performance type deal. I would love it. Believe me, Carlito looked incredible. The dude looked jacked. He looked crazy. I was like, oh, Carlito, what is my boy? But I don't see it. Damian Priest, of course, he did incredible. That whole match was great. It should have been the main event, but of course, Brock and Cody were the main event, and that just... Anyways, JD McDonough should have had a draft spot. You telling me JD McDonough... Here's the thing that kills me about this, right? JD McDonough could have been put in the same position as Finn Balor. Not to that degree where he was pushed to the moon. When Finn Balor was first drafted all those years ago, he was the number 5 overall pick. That was a statement. He was picked number 5. It was a statement pick. It was beautiful. He beat Roman Reigns clean on Raw. Then he beat Seth Rollins for the Universal Championship. It was magnanimous. Unbelievable. Now I'm not saying JD McDonough should have won or should be in. No, he should be in. Should have won the new world championship, but could he have gone to the finals and lost to Seth or lost to Finn? Yeah. Could JD have been drafted top 5 and that would have happened? Oh, look at this. You're telling me, okay, at 5, like I said, Edge could have been a free agent. JD McDonough could have been drafted at 4 or 5, before or after Bobby. It's not hard. Before or after Bobby, no, excuse me, it would have been on Raw, Matt Riddle. You just push Matt Riddle down. It's fine. McIntyre goes 4. JD McDonough goes 5. The Miz, push him down too. Like, seriously. Like, come on now. JD McDonough should have been a top 5 pick. He should have been the runner-up in the world title tournament. It would have been glorious. He would have been just so amazing. It would have been But no, he was drafted on a supplemental draft that we don't know when we'll see him. Luckily, we get to see Cameron Grimes this week on SmackDown, so that's cool. But of course, the disrespect to NXT, just more the same. Of course, Vince McMahon, I'm out of the weeds. I promise I'm not. Blah, 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 blah. I don't understand how people can believe somebody who is a lifetime vile, disgusting, ridiculous, prideful, evil, lying piece of dirt like Vince McMahon. I don't understand how people will say, well, he said he wasn't in it. You gotta believe him. No, we don't. Why do we have to believe him? Why? The dude is a liar. So many superstars in history, so many people he's worked with, executives, referees, talent, his own family. He's a perpetual maniacal liar. I don't believe a word he says. It's not about him anymore. It's not about him. I'm going to get back to the topic. So I touched on free agency, how that didn't make any sense. If I was to say who could make free agents, like, okay, free agents, Lesnar, Edge, Trish, makes sense. They're all part-timers. They all can just pop up whenever they want to. Who else? Somebody who will make an impact. Like I said, Omos showing up like the Great Khali when he beat down Undertaker. That would be incredible. Just to have him pop up on various people and just beat them down. Who else? How about a tag team be floating? Well, the women's tag team championships are supposed to float, so I don't understand what's the point of them getting drafted. They could have just been free agents too, and then when they lost the titles, they could have just took the spot of whoever they lost the titles to on the show. It's not hard. It doesn't make sense. The fifth part, the women's tag team champions and women's world champion, women's champion. NXT tag team and women's champion were both drafted. They still have the titles. No, Indy, as I said earlier, she had to forfeit her title. She's injured. She was drafted. NXT women's title has been vacated twice in like 2-3 months. Stupid. Alba and Isla, I keep saying Isla, it's Isla. Alba and Isla still are NXT tag team champions. And I guess they're on both shows, even though the point of the draft is to be exclusive to one show. But that's WWE for you. Overall, what would I rate this whole draft? I'll rate this a D+. A D+. That's me throwing all my notes. Because, like I said before, there's no reason for Edge, Trish to be here. Rick Boogs, seriously, shouldn't, like Rick Boogs, he should have been in the supplemental draft. There's so many people that should have been in the supplemental draft. Rick Boogs, the Brawling Brutes. If you want to take out Sheamus like you did for multiple people and just say, oh, this person, you would take out Sheamus. The Brawling Brutes have done nothing and are nothing. Karrion Kross has done nothing and are nothing. LA Knight has done nothing and is nothing. So there are a bunch of people on this list you could have made free agents or just said supplemental draft. Johnny Gargano wasn't drafted. That makes me so mad. But that's my thoughts on the draft. D+ at best. It was a craptastic event, and I hope next year they do something to make it better, because this is just terrible. Last thing I'll speak on is the WWE World Championship Tournament, which hosts both SmackDown and Raw talent. And there are a bunch of people who says it makes the draft irrelevant because the person who wins, whether it be on Raw or SmackDown, which I'm hoping is Seth Rollins at this point because Finn was eliminated, would be world champion. And if somebody won on SmackDown, they would be moved to Raw. And it's kind of like, what was the point of drafting on SmackDown if they're going to be the Raw world champion? Again, we're back to WWE not making sense. It was good while it lasted, though. Triple H did a really good job, but we're back to the nonsense, so that's just how it is. My name is Alexander Leviathan, and I am your head of creative for Wrestling is Phenomenal. And I hope to see you again next time for more when you return for more. And cut.